Okay, so this information is for people who are coming from overseas. You're coming to Japan for the first time, you're applying for your visa and applying to jobs. There's a lot of stuff that you need for that. Hello, welcome back to The Tea, where I talk to you about being an English teacher in Japan. This video is going to be for people that are looking at jobs from overseas. So if you're already in Japan, it's a little different of a situation for what you have to do for your visa if you don't already have one. That's a whole different topic for a whole different video. So first, you're going to be needing to find a job. You're going to be applying for your job. And the first step towards getting your visa is applying and getting a job offer with a company that sponsors visas. If you don't see it clearly written, we offer visa sponsorship, they're looking for someone that already lives in Japan, already has a visa. They're not going to sponsor a whole new visa from the start. You're going to have to decide which kind of job you would like. So you're either going to apply for an ALT position at regular public schools, or you're going to apply for an Eikaiwa position, which is English conversation schools. If you want to know anything more about those, I made a quick introduction video, my last video, and I went in a little bit about what goes into each. So you're going to be using sites like Gaijinpot or, Japan Work. There's all these different sites now. I personally have used Gaijinpot before when I first came to Japan. They have so many options now, like JET Program or Interact, those hire from overseas, or whether you're applying to something that's smaller, like an Eikaiwa chain, or you're applying to like a smaller dispatch company. So now that you've decided your job, let's get down into it. So if you decided to be an ALT, working in public schools, junior high schools, whatever, you are going to have an instructor's visa. If you decided to be an Eikaiwa teacher, then you are going to get something that falls into the humanities, specialist in humanities, international services visa. So these are two different visas, and a lot of people think, oh, I'm coming to Japan to teach English. I have like a teacher's visa, which isn't a thing. Like, there's not an English teacher's visa. Depending on if you're doing formal schooling, which is the Japanese public school system, or if you're doing private lessons and private schools, you're gonna have two different visas. So be aware that you can't get an instructor visa and then decide that you want to like work in an Eikaiwa. You're gonna have to switch your visa. Same goes from Eikaiwa to ALT work. You have to switch your visa. It's a different type. So just keep that in mind for when you're applying for your jobs. So now you know what job you want, you've applied to the job, you know which kind of visa is going to be needed for that job. The job sends you back, okay, we like you, congratulations, you're gonna work for us. We need to start the process on your COE. When you're applying for your COE, it's your Certificate of Eligibility. So this is before your visa. And this can only be done in Japan, so you have to gather all of your papers and send them to your company, your future company in Japan, and then they take them in person to immigration to get everything fixed. So these are the things that you're going to need for a COE. So this is basically the first step in the visa process. Doesn't matter which visa you are applying for, everyone has to send this stuff in. You're going to need I think it's a copy of your passport, an extra passport size photo, which is like a 2x2 photo. You need to fill out the application for the COE and any other documents which are required by your company for hiring. So this is where it gets tricky because your requirements, these aren't just like the job requirements, these are the requirements for your visa. So you can't get a visa if you don't have some of these things. So when you're going to be an instructor, this means you're going to be working as an ALT in junior high schools, elementary schools. The requirements for this are a 4-year degree. It doesn't have to be in Japanese, it doesn't have to be in teaching, it doesn't have to be in English. That's There's no way to get around it. If you want the instructor's visa, you need to have a degree. If you have a degree but you are not a native English speaker, you also have to prove 12 years or more of English education. And obviously, yeah, you need to have a valid passport. So you're going to send in all of these listed documents for your instructor's visa along with your COE application. So you have your COE application, you have to send in extra passport size photographs, which are like 2x2 photos. You have to send a copy of your passport information, which is like the first page. Sometimes they'll want you to send a resume. You're definitely going to have to send a copy of your 4-year degree, your actual diploma. You have to send them a photocopy of that. And you're also going to have to get a certified letter of graduation, so something that's sealed and says that you graduated. It's not just a photocopy of a diploma. So that's your whole list for instructor visa. So now if you were planning on getting one of the humanities visas, which is the international services visa, so some of the documents are a little bit different, but not all of them are different. For the COE, everything is the same. If you have a 4-year degree, a regular bachelor's degree, that's fine. You send in a copy of that just like you did with the instructor visa. You don't have to worry, you have a 4-year degree. If you don't have a degree, you need 3 years of relevant experience and related experience. So that's something that's a little bit different from the instructors. There's no getting around having a 4-year degree when you're getting your instructor's visa. So if you're one of those people that fall into the category of not having a 4-year degree and still trying to apply, you need to prove your 3 and more years of work experience, and you need to have a certificate of from your former boss. Like, you need to go to your past employer and you need to get the 3 years showing that you have done 3 or more years of work in that related field. So that can be a little difficult, honestly. Like, I mean, I guess tutoring or teaching English back in your home country is relevant experience. I'm not really particularly sure exactly what they would count as relevant experience or related experience, so it's kind of just going to depend. And whatever company that you're applying to, if they know that you are applying for the humanities visa without having a bachelor's degree, then they'll be able to tell you exactly what kind of experience that is. So you get all of your documents together, you send them in with your COE application, and then you just wait. It takes like 1 to 2 months for like this whole visa process to be completed. So you send everything in, you wait, they'll send you back the information that you need, and then you go to your local embassy and you get your stamp saying that you're going to get a working visa when you get to Japan. It's pretty much how it goes. You just show up at like one of the airports, show them that little stamp in your book, and then you get in exchange your nice shiny foreigner card, your little gaijin card that you need to keep with you forever and ever. So yeah, it's a pretty long process from start to finish, from the time that you decide you're going to work to the time that you actually get back all of your papers and can continue on with the second step of the visa process. It takes super long. It's not quick to get a visa to work in another country. Another thing that you should keep in mind is that they might ask for a background check. Some jobs will ask for a criminal background check. I know the big companies do, like Jet, Interact, they all ask for it. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you have a criminal record. So those are the 2 main visas that you're going to be working with, and the application process for them, and what kind of documents you need, what requirements you have. I hope that this was helpful, even just a little bit, because there seems to be so much confusion and people just think that there's a teaching visa or like a teacher's visa, and that's not the case. It depends on where you work, what kind of job you're doing, and also like just don't come to Japan and like you know, have no visa, like just coming on a tourist visa and trying to like work illegally while you're on a tourist visa. Like, if you come here on a tourist visa, that's fine. A tourist visa is totally, it's a totally acceptable thing for you to job hunt while you're here as a tourist. That's okay. Like, you can hunt for jobs, you can go look for jobs, you can apply for jobs, you could go on interviews, but you cannot work, you cannot make money. So people that come over and they're like, I'm just gonna be like a backpacker man on my tourist visa, and like, I don't know, I'm just gonna like set up my guitar on the side of the street and make some cash. That's not really a thing here. Like, if you're doing that, it's illegal, and if you get caught and deported, like, it sucks. Like, getting deported sucks. I don't know about getting deported from personal experience, but I can only imagine that it fucking sucks. And it can ban you for like, I think from like 1 to 4 or 5 years or something. Like, you basically get fucked if you get caught working illegally on a visa that you're not supposed to be working on while you're living in Japan. There's really, like, there's no excuse to get in trouble with your visa. Like, as long as you are an adult, like, you should be able to handle it. Anyway, that is all for this video, so I hope that it helps. I'll leave some stuff in the description. Hopefully you get your COE and your visa and you get your dream job teaching in Japan and everything works out great for you. Hopefully. I mean, it should.